Good afternoon and welcome along to another instalment of the FOSROC Super 6 Sunday coverage. This afternoon it's perhaps rather appropriate that we find ourselves in Ayrshire, in Alloway to be precise, and we're at the home of Ayrshire Bulls. And Milbrae in excellent condition after a deluge earlier this morning. The skies have cleared somewhat, and I wonder what the Bard would have made of this. Robert Burns, I'm sure, would have been rather interested in the whole concept of what will pan out in the next 80 minutes or so with the Ayrshire Bulls, as you can see, up against the Southern Knights. I'm sure he'd certainly put pen to paper and be very creative. Will the players be likewise creative on the pitch? Well, I have to say the surface in excellent condition. There a glimpse of what is like overhead. Very cloudy at the moment, but it is dry, and I'm delighted to say alongside me to describe this afternoon's action is Fraser Climo. Good afternoon, Fraser.
Good afternoon, Stuart. Thanks for having me. Great to be in what should be a great game of rugby.
What do you expect from these sides? Individually looking at the players, they will know each other so well, having played in the Premiership club game before the start of the Super 6 competition.
Yeah, both teams have had some great battles over the last few years, and going into the first game, round one against these guys, really put up a good performance. So the Southern Knights will be coming here and hoping for a bit of revenge.
Now, of course, this is the third match this weekend, and they're an illustration of what has already happened in the fixtures in round 8. Stirling County's 27-24 win over leaders Watsonians at Bridge Hawk perhaps raised one or two eyebrows, but Heriot's emphatic winners in the Edinburgh Derby against Boroughmuir Bears, 53 points to 10. Of course, Boroughmuir were put to the sword last weekend against the Southern Knights, who make their way onto the field of play this afternoon, wearing their black jerseys with the white trims, black shorts and black socks. And Southern Knights will certainly look to get off to a very bright start. A man who certainly performed very well indeed last weekend was Kieran White, who was in our picture momentarily there, the starting right winger for the Southern Knights, scoring 2 tries against Boroughmuir. And here come the Ayrshire Bulls then. Great cheer from the main stand as they head onto the field of play, wearing the yellow jerseys this afternoon, which are supporting the Whiteleys Retreat charity, and very, very important charity supported by the Ayrshire Bulls this afternoon because of them wearing their yellow jerseys, and that a cancer charity to support families with cancer concerns. There's the teams, Fraser. What do you think? Who are going to be the main protagonists this afternoon?
If you look at both fullbacks for the Ayrshire Bulls, Grant Anderson is a welcome return in his reappearance for his first start of the season. Also in the forward pack, Sam Kitchen has been in great form, leading the forward pack around. Obviously Southern Knights, Fraser Thompson is a class player, has been around for a long time, and his experience out the back should be invaluable for them.
And there's a first look at our referee, Sam Grove White, who will be in charge of this contest this afternoon. Ayrshire Bulls, of course, defeated the Southern Knights in the reverse fixture back on the 23rd of November, and they are now defending from right to left in this first half. A long clearance kick there from Anderson, down to his opposite number. There's Fraser Thompson. Thompson then, aerial kick from Thompson, just to see an indication if there's any breeze, perhaps just favouring the Ayrshire Bulls in the first half so far. Matt Davidson almost cornered there, but he's able to recycle and up towards the halfway line just at the moment. The Ayrshire Bulls, as I say, these yellow jerseys to support the Whiteleys Retreat Cancer Support Charity, supporting youngsters with cancer and particularly their families looking for a bit of respite and support during very difficult times indeed. So a very worthy cause and worthwhile cause for Ayrshire Bulls to support this afternoon. They're in possession just at the moment and looking to work something back in that zone between the 10 and 22. Planted forward, Kieran White on that right hand side, and again underneath it and cleared. Good covering defence there from Tom Bulgraith and Stuart Hutchison, the half-backs for Southern Knights. Thompson's back again. You can see the pitch has been cutting up as the teams have been training on that. And a block challenge coming in there from Tyler Beery, just closing down on Fraser Thompson. We played almost 90 seconds of the first half, and high time we heard from Fraser Climo.
Yeah, as you can tell, a lot of kicking in the match so far. I think in conditions like it is, territory's going to be key. So both teams will be doing a lot of kicking, looking to pin each other in their corners.
Fraser Rennick then with an early line-out throw-in. And Rennick finds Neil Irvin-Hess just in the back of the line. Back towards the scrum half, Hutchison. As Struan Hutchison is able to bring the forwards into play. Goes back towards Hutchison again. Neil Irvin-Hess out towards this right-hand side. Again, trying to be creative as they work it up towards the edge of the 22, the Southern Knights. As I say, playing in their black jerseys this afternoon. And it comes back 15 metres or so in from touch on the edge of the 22. Hutchison is scrambling for it. Ayrshire Bulls looking just to try and work a turnover situation here and press the Southern Knights in. Again, it's a box kick which carries the 22, not by much. And his challenge coming in there. Craig Gosman was up with play, the referee signalling that the Southern Knights have knocked on in that aerial contest, and Ayrshire Bulls will have the foot in at this latest set play. 2.5 minutes gone, no score. There's the high challenge coming in there. White challenging the ball, fully committed as well. Scrum half David Armstrong. And Fraser, what have you made of the start that your own side have made inside 3 minutes? They've certainly forced the Southern Knights on their heels a couple of times.
Yeah, I think Pete Murchie will be pretty happy. The boys kick long, kick in the corners, try and pin the Knights down and let the forwards really try and make a mess of their ball. So first scrum of the match so could set the tone.
David Armstrong in our picture. So too Struan Hutchison. Starting scrum halves then for the respective sides. The referee though, Sam Grove White, not entirely satisfied with that scrimmage, so we'll look to reset once again. 3.5 minutes gone. And it's a very soft surface here at Millbrae. You mentioned the rain coming through from the east this morning. It was very, very wet indeed, travelling along the M8, not quite so much so down the M77. But for the spectators, some respite after a very, very wet morning.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Armstrong not happy with that scrum again. It just crumples there. And
Back end down.
back end going down there. Sam Grove White as Ayrshire Bulls win that little battle. And they'll look to plant this one into the corner. Ross Thompson, there he is. I'd imagine that this is going to be a test for the washing powder used by these clubs at the end of this game. It's going to be a very muddy occasion, and Thompson just not quite getting his angles right there. He was looking for a deeper kick into the 22, and it'll be a scrummage, and Fraser Thompson will be disappointed with that kick, I'd imagine.
Yeah, just probably trying to chew up a few extra metres than he needed to. But another scrum now, and hopefully the boys can put another dominant performance in here.
How aware will they be of yesterday's results and what a win would mean for Ayrshire Bulls? I mean, at the moment they're one of three sides very much cemented in the top three places going into the final couple of matches before the playoffs, but they still potentially finish top of the pile.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super tight competition this year, and on their day each team can beat each other, so each teamer is aware that to pick up points and each game is crucial.
Neil Irvin-Hess as well to carry up at the base of the scrum there. Takes the ball into the contact situation, supported there by the open side flanker Dylan Taylor. Hutchinson goes in again, just looks for some cover as he plants a box kick downfield. Ayrshire Bulls have 4-5 players back. Gathering there was Gosman, cleared right-footed downfield. Fraser Thompson, and also there Galbraith planting the kick downfield. Has got a bit of distance on that one. Gathered, and it's fullback Grant Anderson tries to angle a kick downfield. Fraser Thompson underneath it. Thompson putting a bit more height on his kicks this afternoon than sometimes he would normally do. Back there, Matt Davidson this time down the throat. Again, inside centre, back covering is Gavin Wood, and it's a bit of a kicking battle just at the moment. Underneath sliding, taken up very well. Ayrshire Bulls take it up towards the halfway line, and once more looking to try and work something. David Anderson goes in, forwards in position as well though, as they pick and go and work it up towards the halfway line. Anderson with those long black sleeves has a look to options to his left. Ball carrier this time is in the back row. George Bordle takes it into contact. Back it comes. Look to angle one left-footed downfield. That's not a touch finder. Fraser Thompson was in the right position then. He'll try and take one down the channel. And it's gathered just on that left-hand side by the starting standoff there, Ross Thompson. Angle kick across the left-hand side, this time taken well, and opportunity perhaps now. Joseph Jenkins winning the ball, taking the ball into that contact situation. Appeals now as it comes back towards Anderson. And Anderson's kick is that a touch finder downfield. It looks pretty good. There's the touch judge's flag raised down towards the edge of the 22. David Chang Leng across on that far side, along with Sam Grove-White, some of the match officials today. No scoring with 7.5 minutes of this first half gone. A defensive line out here, and a glimpse, Fraser, of the crowd inside Mulberry this afternoon. A very healthy turnout watching both these sides.
Yeah, always a good turnout, Mulberry, especially with these two clubs over the last few years have been in a great contest, so it's great to see so many people turn up.
Neil Irvin Hest winning the ball in the line out again. When he's on the park, is always a good target to win line out balls for the likes of the Southern Knights. Hutchison again just looking for it as Rennick has it just tucked under his right arm there in the picture, and this time the Ayrshire Bulls are penalised just on the edge of the Southern Knights 22. That was a good effort from the Southern Knights forwards, as that was just collapsed there, and could well have been just looking down there that George Bordle was in position. He may be the player penalised for collapsing that maul, and it's a Chattins from hand to play the ball downfield. It will cross the halfway line and presents an opportunity inside the Ayrshire Bulls half of the field. But already an earlier illustration that these sides are just trying to find any weaknesses or any fragility in the opposition. Instruction coming across there from Grant Shields, a try scorer against Boroughmuir Bears last weekend. Fraser Rennick, centre of our picture there, will throw the ball in. Look perhaps to Irvin Hest once again. Oh, he's challenged, and it's won very well there by Lars Morris, beating Irvin Hest to the ball this time. Crossfield kick, Thompson just tracking across his own 22, and Thompson has time to again measure a kick downfield. That bounces right plumb on the line. Ayrshire Bulls are penalising, or rather appealing that the Southern Knights could have been penalised there for going straight out of touch. Grant Anderson looking rather ruefully in the direction of his opposite number there. Fraser, how about this from a delivery from hand?
Great kick by Fraser Thompson there. Chews off about 30-40 metres. Him and Grant Anderson have been competitors over the years, so there'll be no love lost out there today.
Throw in this time for the Ayrshire Bulls. Sam Kitchen towards the back of the constructed line out there. Kitchen goes in, distinctive red scrum cap. He has the ball tucked under his arm there, and you can see that Armstrong looking for it, delivering the box kick downfield. Almost exactly 10 minutes of this first half gone. Been another tentative opening 10 minutes or so, as Thompson again is going more for direct touch on this occasion rather than making distance, and he's certainly planted the ball into touch there. So once again it will be Sam Kitchen that will throw the ball in, understandably looking for a towel just to give the ball a quick wipe, and gets the instruction there from Michael Scott to throw the ball in. No scoring. As I mentioned, the Ayrshire Bulls were winners down at the Green Yards back in November in the reverse fixture. Referee Sam Grove-White spotting an infringement in that line out. So we'll go back for another set piece and another scrum, and this will be energy sapping stuff for these forwards, because the backs have had very little opportunity to run, certainly in their opposition half of the field. It's been a forwards dominated game, but I suppose, Fraser, we expected that would be the case in these conditions at this time of year, with these two sides coming together.
Yeah, exactly right. You can see with the field cutting up there that forward dominance in a game like this is going to be crucial. So both teams just trying to get that territory in position and convert into points, hopefully.
Hutchison stands waiting patiently just to feed the ball into the scrum. Just angles that feed. They never are straight these days. And again, it's Irvin Hess, number 8. He's picked up, but he's gathered and wrapped there by Mars Morris. Was just trying to slow him up. So too in there, Marshall Sykes in the second row for Ayrshire Bulls. And carried forward with some purpose. James Head in the action, back in the starting line-up this weekend after injury. Denied him a place last weekend against Boroughmuir. And that angled kick again landing pretty much plumb on the line. But the touch judge, I think he said it's gone out on the full. And Gosman will be a little disappointed with that effort there, as he relinquishes a little bit of field position, a little shake of the head there, and it means that the Southern Knights have a throw in just at that 10 metre line. You can see they're playing towards those posts to the right hand side of the picture. And the referee just about to signal that the throw in should be good here. Fraser Rennick then, left arm already completely covered in mud, as it's James Head that wins the ball in the line out this time. Comes back towards Rennick, almost loses it under the legs there. Hutchison was in behind. Rennick though now feeds it towards his scrum half. Carried forward now, remember in the centres they start with Gavin Wood and Joseph Jenkins at 12 and 13. The Southern Knights angled this time and taken on by Dylan Taylor. Taking the ball into contact. Hutchison again back towards Galbraith. Galbraith has a little good challenge and tackle coming in there to stop the Melrose fly half. The referee had played a little advantage there, and play will come back to a more central position. Fly half back on his feet. And this is, as we said, tiring 13 minutes have come and gone for these players. This will test levels of fitness, as the Southern Knights have started the calendar year unbeaten with those 2 victories over Boroughmuir Bears, and of course Ayrshire Bulls will be very much looking at Watsonians and Heriots, and they're very much within their grasp, and it looks as if they've already cemented their place in the top 4, but to finish top of the pile would be give them some bragging rights going into the playoffs.
Knight, don't hold them in the air. Get them down quick, please.
Once more, the towel being required for the scrum half, for the hooker I should say. Scrum halves would sometimes like that option as well, I would imagine. So a deeper line out this time for the Southern Knights. Fraser Rennick towards the back of the line, one well just at the back, and now the Southern Knights looking to try and get a bit of a drive on with Rennick in control, in possession of the ball, just some way short of the 5 metre line inside the 22. A couple of players come collapsing out there, one of them Ewan McQuillan, but it's still the Southern Knights with the drive on, and still Rennick. Hutchinson alongside him trying to slow him up there is Blair McPherson, the number 8 for Ayrshire Bulls, and again the referee has signalled that looks as if he's going underneath the posts for a penalty try, and we'll get Fraser Climo's thoughts on this as the players are coming together. 14 and a half minutes of the first half gone, a real forwards battle there, and Southern Knights coming out on top. And what do you make of that decision by the referee, Fraser? And the battle between the forwards again has been very significant indeed, with Knights awarded that penalty score.
Yeah, it comes from a sloppy high tackle from Marshall Sykes in the midfield, and playing a team like the Knights, last thing you want to do is give them penalties to kick to the corner with their rolling more such a strength. So the boys will have to get their discipline right, because if not, it could be a long day with the Knights rolling more going like that.
Well, they seem to signal it was a penalty try there, going underneath the post, so it will be an automatic 7 points. Now no conversion required, but it's the Southern Knights now dancing their way out of that 22, led by their scrum half. Hutchinson takes it into contact, and over it is Rennick once again, taken on by the open side flanker. And doing well there was Dylan Taylor, just dropping that right shoulder, carrying it on the angle. Irvin Hess goes in just to lay out a few players as Hutchison tries the box kick, had a bit more space to work with there, and that lands just down on the edge of the halfway line. Just a glimpse in a picture there of the battle involving the forwards, which led to that opening score. Penalty try for the Southern Knights. Ayrshire Bulls 0, Southern Knights 7 then. 16 minutes of this first half gone, and there you can see whether that was deliberate obstruction just short of the try line, but the referee certainly made his way with a raised arm right underneath the posts to signal the penalty try, as now Ayrshire Bulls look to try and get themselves back on level terms, with Sam Kitchen in control of the ball just now, having thrown in at the line out. They're close towards the touchline, just inside that 22, and a spill of players just drop over that line, but the ball still infield, taken on here by Armstrong. Back row forward now, Bordle carries just on the angle, Armstrong in behind him. Armstrong taken on this time by Kitchen. Hooker in open play, trying to carry up closer towards that 5 metre line. Spread out and the half-backs linking up well, trying to bring in Tom Jordan into open play. Armstrong again, taken there at head height and carried forward. We've got a lot of really willing ball carriers in the second and back row as well as in the front three. Spread it out towards this right hand side, got a bit of space. Matt Davidson starting right winger over there, almost crowded out as they're still trying to work it back infield here. Armstrong once again, this time taken on by Griffiths, just short of the 5 metre line, plants it back. Armstrong trying to secure possession and remain in Ayrshire Bulls' hands, but the referee signalling that the Southern Knights won't be penalised inside that 22. An almighty scrap there. Pete McCallum having a quick word with the match official, and there's James Head with a rather rueful smile on his face as he gets back to his feet.
Take your team on the line, please. Take your team to the 22, please. I want you to go to the 22, please.
Ayrshire Bulls heading back towards the 22 as Sam
right, so I've got
is going to have a word here.
Nice side entry at the breakdown. There is 2 players on the ground having a wee grapple. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, it's 5 black and 4 yellow. Nothing was thrown, so just a strong word with him and go with your original penalty.
Yeah, so 5 black, 4 yellow. Yep. Thank you.
David Changleng just confirming what the referee had
captains,
initially thought.
4 as well, please. So the fence is going to be 13 side entry to that breakdown. We've also got you 2 players having a grapple and just messing around on the ground. That now stops now. Any more of it and players will be leaving, okay? So speak to both your teams, you pair sort it out, and we're going to go with the original penalty for 13 side entry. Thank you.
So Joseph Jenkins penalised for side entry. No cards, but a stern word to the players and the respective skippers that any more of that and there'll be cards, Fraser.
Yeah, a lot better play from the Bulls. We see Davey Armstrong trying to get the forwards around the corner, get them in the game, and then the backs connecting out wide, but trying to build a bit of pressure now on the Knights and build the phases.
Little prodded kick there from Thompson.
Off the line.
The Ayrshire Bulls will certainly look to try and maintain this pressure and possession and turn it into points.
Time off, no ball.
Penalty score separating the sides with now almost 19 minutes of this first half gone. As we mentioned, a healthy crowd inside Millbrae for this FOSROC Super 6 match between 2 sets of players certainly that know each other very well, when Ayr and Melrose, as they were back in the Premiership, contested many playoff semi-finals and finals and cup finals at Murrayfield as well. But in this guise of the Super 6, it's the Ayrshire Bulls now with a drive on, and the Southern Knights trying every which way just to slow them up. Armstrong just in the back of it, almost just trying to steer them over the line, and the Ayrshire Bulls, well, they've not been behind for long. Again, it's the power of their forwards in the attack, and Kitchen's the last man up with the ball there. He may well be awarded the try, but how about that, Fraser, for a response from the home side?
Great play from the Ayrshire Bulls forward pack there, really getting a dominant move on. A few of the backs joining in too, not that they would have done much help, but to see that man Sammy Kitchen again, I think he's one of the leading try scorers in the competition, and when he gets the ball at the back of that ball, you're really going to get it off him.
He almost lost his jersey there, but fully committed, dropping to the line, and his opposite number, Fraser Rennick, there just couldn't stop him. 7-5 with the kick to come. There's a indication of how difficult this is going to be on the angle. Just see if this can be converted, and certainly these points are going to be so crucial, Fraser.
In a game like this, yeah, 2 points, 3 points, the kickers can't afford to miss too many, but Roscoe's been playing real well this season, and my money's on him to slot it.
Thompson then from the edge of the 22, plenty of height on the ball, the crowd like it, and that's why he's levelled things up. 7 points all, so this game has offered plenty. No quarter asked or given between these sides, and it's really been the forwards on a pitch favouring perhaps the forwards rather than the backs that have drawn first blood for either side. The Melrose forwards winning the penalty try in the end, but not in front for long, less than 10 minutes, and the Ayrshire Bulls back on level terms. 7 points all then at Millbrae. The first quarter, as opening quarter come and gone, Armstrong then feeding Kitchen once more, the try scorer. He goes to ground, just arches the back, makes the ball playable again for Armstrong, and he'll perhaps look for an exit here. Thompson then, left-footed downfield to another Thompson, Fraser Thompson this time. Again, he's got a bit of green plane to run into. Somewhat broken pitch though, as he's high up and under, is challenged in the air. Then Thompson is first to that loose ball from a Southern Knights point of view, but good cover defence here from the Ayrshire Bulls. And up there was Tom Jordan with a little pass towards the right hand side. Double knock on, I think, so Southern Knights must have got hands on the ball initially, and the referee brings play back for that double knock on, another set play. And Fraser, when you're in the backs watching a game that is bossed by the forwards, what on a pitch like this, what is going through your mind?
Discipline and territory is key in a game like this, and I've been lucky enough over the years to have a great full pack in front of me, so if they can get dominance, it's up to the backs to sort of put the forwards in the right area of the field, because it can be pretty tough to come up when the conditions are like this.
Another scrummage. This time, watching on here, the Ayrshire Bulls all feed the ball into the scrum. There's a picture of David Armstrong. Concentration on the face of Armstrong.
Set.
And it goes just controlled there by the feet of Bordle. Back towards Thompson. Prods one through, left-footed kick. Got some pitch to run into here. Was taken on well by Gosman. Gosman still has it. On towards the outside centre. Taken on there. Beery was tackled just inside that 22. Picked up though by Grant Anderson. The attack continues. This is the best spell of backs play certainly in the game so far, with them linking up well with a great deal of purpose. That ball just knocked on there. The pass wasn't gathered there. Well, Griffiths just towards his right hand side, but I think he was aware that there was an advantage being played, and Ayrshire Bulls just looking to apply a bit more pressure, but from a back's point of view that was much more like it. You can see there the pass there from Griffiths just wasn't taken on there by Lars Morris, but no real damage done from an Ayrshire Bulls point of view, as I think they're going to go for the post, Fraser.
Yeah, great vision from Ross Thompson there to see the wingers up, dinks it over the top, Craig Gosman onto it. Just a pity that Tyler Berry couldn't find a support Tom Jordan on the inside. It should be a certain 3 points. I don't want to put the mockers on him, but Roscoe kicks this pretty much 9 times out of 10.
Age grade internationalist Thompson just wiping the front of the jersey with his hands, and he'll have his pre-kick routine that he'll want to go through. Just takes a few deep breaths. So just inside that 22, just right of the centre, but a straightforward kick, so he'll be happy with his efforts from T so far in the game. And Ayrshire Bulls, having conceded the opening points in the game, now find themselves leading by 10 points to 7 with 24.5 minutes of the first half gone. Back towards halfway. There's the indication of how many are in the main stand this afternoon. Almost a packed main stand at Millbrae. It's a chilly one for the spectators, but you expect nothing less than that at this time of year. It's Burns weekend, plenty of events taking place in and around Alloway, as you'd expect, and it's certainly a busy part of the country to come to. But some real rip-roaring fare here at Millbrae, as Thompson receiving the pass from Armstrong, looking to clear downfield from the 22, finds Fraser Thompson again, who's out on that left-hand side. Thompson, though, tackled solidly, and again Hutchison tries to scamper for the ball as the reinforcements coming in, applying a little bit of pressure from an Ayrshire Bulls point of view. The referee signalled another Southern Knights knock on there, and they get back to their feet, and certainly coughing up a little bit more possession at the moment. Grant Shields there, another rueful expression this time on his face. Fraser Thompson just having a very quick word with Sam Grove-White, the Southern Knights skipper, talking to the match referee.
Same as that last one, please, fellas. Real good scrum.
The referee was certainly happy with the last scrummage. But it is, Fraser, I suppose, important from the forwards point of view, just to have that one-upmanship in both the line-out and in the scrums.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, both forward packs know that if they can get dominance today, it's going to go a long way into deciding the match. So you just see that every time Fraser Thompson gets the ball in hand, he wants to have a go, but great defence there from Tom Jordan to shut him down.
Blair McPherson had a period off the field. He's back on now, so Ayrshire Bulls back up to a full complement, and now Armstrong just feeding the ball into the scrum, prods the kick forward. They give chase, covered by Hutchison. Well, they had to lunge on the ball there. He was supported there by Patrick Anderson over on that left hand side. Irvin Hess up, but the referee had already whistled before the Southern Knights number 8 was able to gather the ball in. Touch judge across on that far side, and the flag raised. And this very interesting battle continues as we're approaching the half-hour mark. Almost 27 minutes of the first half gone here. A penalty try opening the scoring for the Southern Knights. Sam Kitchen replying with a converted try. The conversion coming from Ross Thompson. Thompson has since added a penalty. That was a good win in the line out as well. Good jumpers there in Borderland. Now McPherson back on that field of play. Kitchen controlling the ball under his left arm, and Ayrshire Bulls have got a real head of steam up here. The bit between their teeth, very much the case. Armstrong is calling for the ball. Kitchen just almost making it unavailable for his scrum half initially. Armstrong goes in again, desperately trying to dig that one out, needing perhaps a little bit more help there from Tom Jordan. And credit there to the effort of the Southern Knights forwards on this occasion. And
4 and 6 through the middle, maul to ground, unsuccessful, black ball. Yeah.
Southern Knights will have the latest put in, and Fraser, it's at times becoming a little bit of a chess match, a chess contest between these sides.
Yeah, a little bit of a stalemate. You can see there that good maul defence from the Knights. Sammy Kitchen at the back generally doesn't like letting go of the ball there. See Davey just trying to get it out, but just left it in there a little bit too long. Collapsed maul turnover, so scrum head to the Knights.
Same on their ball as it been on yours. Thank you.
Players just taking their time to ready themselves for another effort in the forwards. A little word there from Hutchison in the direction of Will Griffiths. There'll certainly be a great deal of respect in either camp as the Southern Knights and the Ayrshire Bulls lock horns in this latest scrum, with now 28 minutes of the first half gone. Knights in the black, Ayrshire Bulls in these yellow jerseys, as we mentioned, to support the Whiteleys Retreat charity. And it's now coming down what blind side there is. Worked on down that left hand side. Good work there from Anderson. A rather high challenge coming in as Anderson started just to drop from his full height there as the challenge came in. It was worked out by Gavin Wood out towards that left hand side onto the onrushing Anderson. Watch this again, Fraser, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he just cops him a little bit high, does Davey. Renowned for his cover defence, but he'll be disappointed with that. David
Armstrong with that challenge there on Patrick Anderson. We got to see it. The referee again with David Chang-Lang.
Shoulder, and then he's went up. So it is with force, but I'm going to mitigate it down because it went shoulder to head, so it's going to be a yellow card to 9. Perfect. Do you agree with that?
Yellow card to David Armstrong then. So Armstrong was the man covering.
So you've come across me at tackle, you have head contact, but it's come off the shoulder then head. Is a yellow card. You're 8 in the yellow card already.
So yellow card there, and 10 minutes in the sin bin for David Armstrong. And just going, you could see that Patrick Anderson, just lowering his head slightly, as players will do going into that contact situation. And it's now Armstrong watching on for the next 10 minutes. And what implications will this have on the game, with the Southern Knights trailing here at Millbrae by 10 points to 7. Ayrshire Bulls coming from behind. That one finds one of the little car parks around Millbrae. Fraser Rennick will feed the ball into the scrum here, the line out here, I should say. There's a good shot of Rennick. Again, already plenty of experience to call upon in his tender years, as James Head wins the ball in that line out, and Rennick in behind again, tucking the ball under that right arm. Bit of a drive on here. Southern Knights will want to make the numerical advantage on the pitch count. Struan Hutchison now calling on it, goes down the blind side, little pop pass inside. Anderson making himself available, goes into the tackle situation. Hutchison again, forced backwards there as the Southern Knights forwards are really dominating this attack at the moment. Taken on this time by Rory Knott, who put himself about last weekend in that win against Boroughmuir Bears. Out towards Galbraith. Gavin Wood dismisses out Fraser Thompson out towards this right hand side. Kieran White still has it, needs the offload. Hutchinson comes in. Hutchinson again has a look towards his left hand side on the edge of that 22. Taken on this time by Angus Runciman. Runciman into that tackle position in situation, and back now towards Hutchison. Taken on this time by McQuillan. Almost losing possession. James Head out towards Galbraith. Good hands there by Taylor. Out towards Thompson. Almost running out of room. And Fraser, well, certainly the Southern Knights are trying to spread the ball wide and get their backs more involved with the numerical advantage.
Yeah, good patience from the Knights there. Just trying to build phase after phase, especially with the Ayrshire Bulls being down to 14 men with Armstrong off. Equally good defence from the Bulls there. Tyler Berry putting a good shot on the outside channels. That's a big 9 minutes for the boys now, especially with Davey off. Davey's a real driver of the team, so the senior leader's going to have to step up and take over.
Going for the posts here, the Southern Knights to try and level things up. The referee having a word with Pete McCallum, and this now will be a case of trying to land something off the tee to level the game at 10 points. All water bottle carriers on, breathers for the forwards in particular, I think will be much appreciated.
Time is off, fellas.
I think the referee's got a problem with his communication system, so there'll just be a slight delay here until Sam Grove White is once again fully wired for sound.
DC, Gio, can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Time back on, please.
And we're back underway once again.
30-22, did you say?
Such as the modern referee now, being all wired up and requiring the microphone and the ability to speak to those on either side of the pitch. And there's a glimpse of the ball just being placed on the tee. This kick would level the match at 10 points all in what is been an interesting first half. Hutchinson then is going to line up this penalty goal attempt. You can see just beyond that 22, fairly central. So to level the match. Clean strike, no problems, 10 points all. And Fraser, I think a fair reflection on the first 33 minutes of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think neither team getting real dominance. Both teams have at times have had the ball building phases and then just error in contact. So again, obviously nothing in it. I think the next 7 minutes with the Ayrshire Bulls down to 14 men could be key.
I should ask you as well, it's been a bit of a frustrating time for you of late with injury. How's the recovery and the recuperation? How's it coming along?
Okay, week by week I've got an Achilles injury at the moment, so just dealing with the medical team each week and just trying to get back on the field as soon as I can.
Ayrshire Bulls then back on level terms with the Southern Knights after that Southern Knights penalty levelled the match, 10 points all. And as you can see, that Ayrshire Bulls still down a man due to a yellow card. But good work there from the forwards, and a few pats in the back there, particularly aimed at Blair McPherson. And with 6 minutes of this first half left to play, will a side have an advantage going into the break? And I think again, just another example of how well these sides know one another. But this time it was Galbraith taking the ball into contact, and then again Ayrshire just wrapping round those players. Could not allow Galbraith to release possession of the ball there, so taking the ball into contact, not releasing, and a penalty here this time for Thompson, who's so far got a 100% record of conversion in a penalty goal, one from centre, one from out wide. Very carefully placing the ball on the tee. At least it's not one of those very, very windy afternoons where you're asked to be the player to sprawl yourself across the pitch and place an index finger on the ball. That must always, that must get into the heads of kickers. Does that not put a kicker off?
It is when you've got a forward doing it. They tend to leave the finger on the end as you kick it. But No, about 37 metres out here for Roscoe. Distance shouldn't be a problem.
Thompson to give Ayrshire Bulls the lead then. Again, that looks pretty good from here. And is. Touch judges very nonchalantly just raising the flags. And 4.5 minutes left in this first half. Ayrshire Bulls back in front by 13 points to 10. Reason to cheer. Some of these youngsters as well. You'd imagine that with the introduction of this competition and this level of rugby, there'll be a few that they'll perhaps think in years to come that could be them out on that field of play for the home side. And of course from the visiting side, many have made the trip up from the Scottish borders to cheer on the Southern Knights, who are trailing by the 3 points after another successful Thompson kick. Kitchen takes the ball into contact here, tries to slow him up was Dylan Taylor, gets himself back in position defensively. As again, they're just having to rejig things. They've no Armstrong on the field of play. He's the man yellow carded. So Ayrshire Bulls in front, a man down at the moment. Fraser Thompson slips, but he's able to deliver a kick with plenty height cross field. The chasers come up there. Leading the chase was Kieran White. It's hacked forward here, a kick and chase on. Neil Elvin Hess up with the action. Has Hess been able to ground the ball? There's an almighty cheer. Hess flings the ball just beyond those posts there, and it does look indeed that Southern Knights are back in front. And that was initially Fraser Thompson's kick with a lot of height on it. It allowed the Southern Knights players to give chase, and Neil Irvin Hess, well, he knows his way to the try line. A rather unconventional score for the Southern Knights, number 8, but they all count.
Yeah, I think his kick sort of came off the side of the boot and put the Ayrshire Bulls players in doubt, and once you leave a ball to bounce, it's 50-50, and lucky enough for the Knights, they come through and score, which could be a crucial score in the match.
Irvin Hess taking the congratulations of his teammates there. So the pendulum swings once more. This seesaw first half has produced a lot of forwards dominated action, and it was a forward eventually scoring the try there, but some creativity shown by the Southern Knights skipper Fraser Thompson. Hutchinson then with the ball on the tee, almost in line with that left hand post. He'll be mindful of the time. Just under 2.5 minutes of this first half left to play. Here he goes then, right footed on the angle to extend the advantage of Southern Knights. 13-17 then the scoreline, and the visitors from the borders have a 4-point lead with just over 2 minutes of this first half left to play. I think the referee's signalling that there'll be 4 minutes until the break.
4 to go
with
in
the 4 to go in the half, we hear him say there with the various stoppages. Armstrong yellow card, but there again a replay of that try, and Irvin Hess, of course, he was brought in late in the day for our televised fixture down at the Green Yards last weekend, and he's a try scorer in this first half. Flatter kick to restart the match there from Thompson. Swings out and played downfield there. That's allowed to bounce once and into touch there. It's quite a difficult one there for Grant Anderson to read. He wouldn't want to run it out of play and into touch.
That's good.
I think experienced play there from Grant, knowing that they're down the 14 men, trying to slow the game down as much as they can.
Yeah, you'll get a chance.
Again, with their ball now, they hopefully can get some control.
And he felt that if he really challenged for that ball, he was at the risk of running it into touch himself. Graham Ormiston, the near side touch judge, with that raised flag. That was good line out win just in the middle there. Kitchen goes in again as once more the Ayrshire Bulls look to try and use their hooker to lead an attack here. Craig Gosman working as the replacement scrum half with Armstrong in the sin bin. Ross Thompson's crossfield kick, that's a tantalising kick there, eventually gathered by Fraser Thompson. Tries the offload there, brings in Patrick Anderson. Anderson scrambling, tries to escape the attention of these Ayrshire Bulls players in these charity yellow jerseys they're playing in for this televised fixture this Sunday afternoon.
3 back, 3.
Burns weekend, and if the Bard was around, he'd plenty to write about in this first half. Now with 2 minutes on the clock. 2 minutes left to play. Thompson again measures a kick left-footed downfield. Is that going to bounce into touch? It does. Just on the edge of the 22. Again, a great delivery there from the young fly half, and he weighted that one very nicely indeed.
Yeah, great touch finder from Ross there. I think it just shows how important it is to find grass on a day like this. get the ball on the ground, because with the surface cutting up, it can be pretty tough to take off the pitch. So great play. Hopefully we can build a bit of pressure next couple of minutes and find another score.
2 to go.
George Bordle and Lars Morris in our picture there. The 6 and 5 for Ayrshire Bulls this afternoon. Fraser Rennick then with this throw in very close to his own 22. Measures it towards Irvin Hess at the back of the line. Kitchen though, the starting hooker for Ayrshire Bulls, very quickly onto that. So too Will Griffiths, just to try and continue the forward momentum here. Back now towards Morris, dropping that left shoulder, continuing the run. Armstrong back on the field of play, so Ayrshire Bulls back up to full complement though. Spilling that pass forward there was Thompson. The advantage was short. A knock on there. Thompson back to his feet, a minute to play, and Southern Knights still in front by 17 points to 13, but you feel that there's plenty still to come from both these sides.
We called one and we're watching the other.
Spilled earlier from Hutchinson.
You'll hear the hooter.
But the referee had signalled, well, you can hear him saying you'll hear the hooter to signal the end of the first half.
Same scrum, fellas. Good elbow, keep up. Don't force them down. We've not done it yet, but don't.
It's been quite complimentary to the respective forwards for most of the set plays. There's been 1 or 2 resets. And Hutchinson now
crouch.
Gets the signal from the referee.
Set.
And he'll squat down and pop the ball into the scullage now. Works its way back towards Irvin Hess, and the feet of the Southern Knights number 8. Back towards Hutchinson. 3 men out on that left-hand side. Galbraith takes it forward. Just outside that 22, Hutchison back infield. James Head this time the ball carrier. His route just blocked off there. Will Griffiths was just lining up against the Southern Knights second row forward. It was held up, the referee signals. The hooter going just as that ball was held up there, so he'll bring play back in this. Fraser Climo will be the last action of the first half, and there's certainly been some talking points, no question about it.
Yeah, even Stevens, I think the Knights will probably be the happier of the 2 teams going into the shed due to that late score. But I think it just shows territory and possession, and having patience with the ball is going to be key in the second 40.
Yeah, that is indeed half-time. He's not going to bring play back. That obviously happened just beyond the hooter, so the referee signalled that indeed is half-time. Ayrshire Bulls 13, Southern Knights 17. And this game very much on a knife edge, as with a further 40 minutes still to come. Some spectators, I'm sure, will be making their way for teas and coffees at half time, maybe something a little stronger as well. Plenty for them to reflect on as well in this FOSROC Super 6 tournament, which has reached round 8, and the Southern Knights, unbeaten in 2020 so far, have a slender advantage here at Millbrae, but the home side have shown plenty of creativity and aggression in the first 40 minutes. Let's have a look then at some of the highlights from the opening 40 minutes. And this was the drive on here from the Southern Knights, which eventually resulted in the penalty score. You can see Sam Grove-White very carefully watching the action, going initially underneath the post there, having just noticed that the ball, well, James Head right in the thick of the action, so too Fraser Rennick, but the referee had no doubts in his mind he was going to award the penalty score. And Sam Kitchen looking to respond within 10 minutes of going behind. The hooker still in control of the ball there under his left arm, and he's been forced over the line. Just a little gap opens, and lunging to the line, a try which levelled the game at 7 points all after an excellent conversion attempt from Ross Thompson. And Fraser Climo, this was the Knights' second try. Here's Fraser Thompson's kick again, and watch the chasing runners coming up, putting here under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, as you said, just landed in between 2 Ayrshire Bulls players there, Gosman and Thompson, and great chasing through from the Knights players, and managed to put a foot on it, kick it through, and out sprint the cover defence.
Kieran White couldn't quite control it initially. It was hacked forward, and the chasing runners there, Grant Shields and the try scorer Neil Irvin Hess, is perhaps the best angle, and you can see Irvin Hess now just coming into the picture, lunging for the line, gathering and touching down for the score.
Yeah, great pick up from the big man there too.
So half time, Ayrshire Bulls 13, Southern Knights 17. But during the interval, it's time for us to play our half-time video, and this time it's an interview with Gordy Reid.
I'm here at Millbury, where I caught up with Gordy Reid to chat all things Super 6, Ayrshire Bulls and his rugby journey so far. Can you tell us a little bit about your first memories of playing rugby and how it all began?
Here at Ayr, I started when I was 12. I tried all kind of sports, from karate to boxing to roller hockey to street hockey to ice hockey to athletics to everything, and I just didn't really seem that kind of impressed with it. I didn't really like it. Tried the rugby. Yeah, I wasn't really the best rugby player, and I just kind of worked at it, and I got a wee bit better each time I came here, and I liked the process of coming here and passing a bit of ball with some of your mates, and I really enjoyed it, so I just stuck at it there. I got to probably about 17. I had a job when I was 15, all the way through, and I then realised again I didn't think I could kind of make it, and then everything just changed. I just had a thought. I said I could do pretty well at this. I could do pretty well, and then started doing my extra passing sessions. Myself, getting a tyre and passing it through it, and just different things like fitness-wise, going to athletics, and doing stuff like that, which I thought was going to improve my rugby. So I got to probably about 17, and I said, listen, I'm going to get a good crack.
First professional contract with the Warriors, how did that come about?
Yeah, well, I was a part-time with Warriors. I was at Ayr, and then I was part-time with Warriors, training probably 2 days a week. I had my own business at the time. I was a French polisher, so antique restoration. So I done that. I also worked behind the bar at the local bar in Prestwick, the Red Lion it was called at the time. And I worked there, and I also had some other jobs. So I was literally doing maybe 3-4 jobs just to try and get that money in, so I could then play rugby at the weekends and do this other stuff with Glasgow. So I tried everything from tyre fitting to roofing to joinery to anything you can think of. I worked in B&Q, I worked in everywhere to try and get the funds. A delivery company too, I tried to do that. So I'd done it all to try and go there for rugby, to try and, like, again, I'm not from the kind of wealthiest background, so it was only me to get the money, so I had to then work hard. And
in terms of your rugby career, stay with Glasgow Warriors, what was your kind of highlight from playing for the Warriors?
Possibly playing my first game was great. I played against Adam Jones, against Ospreys. He was playing Ospreys for the time, and he was just a British Lion, and I played for Ayr. And I was only young at the time, and I hit the scrum, and the first thing was his hair was in my face, and I just started laughing in the scrum. So you can imagine Adam Jones, at his time, the best prop in the world, playing for the British Lions, and I was scrummaging against him, and I was a young boy from here, a bit overweight, still am, but I wanted to ask for his autograph there and then when I hit the scrum, talking to him, because all he was doing was having a bit of carry on. He knew I was just a young boy, and he could have me up in the air, and yeah, it was cool. It was cool to play against one of your kind of the legends of the game as such. I thought it was great.
And then from then you obviously made your Scotland debut in the US. Is that a career highlight, making the debut, or have you got other Scotland memories that stick out more?
Yeah, well that one was really important to me, because yeah, just growing up, it was great. It was just to play for Scotland was the highlight, but the highlight was getting my mum and dad, because they couldn't afford to come over to Texas. They couldn't afford the flight over and to stay over there, which was a bit of a kick in the teeth, because my mum and dad would watch me all the way through. So the owner of Chestnuts down in there, it's a hotel down there, so him and my agent Sandy at the time, they just had a conversation, and they paid for my wife, my mum and my dad to come over, which was really special because they seen me play my first cap. Yeah, I got my cap, but it wasn't all about that, it was just about my family getting to see me too. I like just having fun. I like being myself. I like, you know what I mean? I'm myself, so why be anybody else? I do like putting a couple of videos out there, a bit of fun. When you're having a nice stroll, in the field and you feel like you've been followed. Hey, what do you want to do? A lot of things about this mental health, and a lot of people talking about it. And I think if you put some funny videos out there and people laugh, I think that's a great cure for a lot of things out there. So yeah, I just put together some videos and they just come out just at the top of my head, and I fire them out there. And if it makes people laugh, it makes people laugh. If it kind of annoys people, well, don't watch it then.
And what have you made of the Super 6 so far?
I think there's a lot of good talent coming through. A lot of, you can see it in all the teams, to be honest. And I think that can only be beneficial for Scottish Rugby. Trying to play a higher standard, trying to create a couple of more professional teams, I think could only be great for Scottish Rugby.
And do you think the Ayrshire Bulls are in a position to win the tournament?
I think it's going to be challenging, but I think there's a lot of great teams in this league, and I think we've got the strength and depth in a lot of positions. And boys coming back from injury, I think we could definitely put up a good fight.
Fraser Klima alongside me this afternoon for this match at Millbrae. The Ayrshire Bulls 13, Southern Knights 17, the half-time score in our FOSROC Super 6 live Sunday afternoon fixture. Fraser, I wanted to ask you, that was a really interesting, insightful piece there on Gordie Reid. Now, in your time in Scotland, we reckon you came across the first time you'd be 20. I'll not give your age away, but a few years ago now, you were saying that Gordie was one of the first people really to sort of be there for you, to support you, to look after you.
Yeah, Gordie was great, mate. He was a guy that's real approachable, down to earth. So he'd come around, take us for lunch, show me around the place, and he was just a real good guy to have around, especially for me, 20 years old, travelling around the other side of the world, not knowing anyone. It was just a good to see, like a friendly face, and we've been great mates since. And
somebody that worked tremendously hard in this part of the world as well to get his way up to win a Scotland cap. But you can tell, as well as the international honours that he's collected, the very fact that he's played for Ayr and obviously played for Ayrshire Bulls in more recent times, that almost means as much to him as wearing the international jersey.
Yeah, he's a real homeboy, Gordie. He loves Ayrshire, loves Ayr Rugby Club in Millbrae, and for him to come back and just sort of help out a lot of the younger fellas, with our senior academy at the club, and sort of just give them tips. And it's great for young fellas to see guys like Gordie who've played in a Rugby World Cup to come back to his roots and pass on his wisdom and hopefully help younger boys want to achieve their dream.
And we've got a glimpse there of Michael Julian, who may well be coming off the bench in the second half, up from London last year as well. Had a season in the club game and done very well so far in the Super 6. There's the standings then coming into the fixtures this afternoon. Watsonians, of course, were pipped yesterday by Stirling County Heriots with that emphatic win over Boroughmuir Bears. But the Southern Knights, were they to win this one this afternoon, would obviously creep that bit closer to those sides in the positions 3, 2 and 1. But you're almost now thinking you've got, if Southern Knights were to hang on for the win, that top 4 not quite cemented but almost there. So a lot's going to rest on this second half.
Yeah, massive 40 minutes for both teams. Our goal was to try and get the finish top 2. So, for us for that to happen, it's a big 40 minutes from us. And the Southern Knights, if they can get the win here, it sort of puts a bit of a distance between them and Stirling County. So in 5th place. So lots to play for in the next 40.
Ayrshire Bulls, of course, winners, as we mentioned, back on, I think it was the 23rd of November when the sides met. And of course we are enjoying the hospitality of the locals here in Alloway as they celebrate Burns. Very much become a weekend Of course, yesterday, 25th, was the anniversary, and many suppers held around the world. The Bard, as he's referred to, around Scotland and around many parts of the world as well. One of the most famous Scots to head abroad, and or rather his work more so than he himself going abroad, and making a huge contribution to Scottish literacy and the literature of the Scots over the centuries. And Rob Christie there with Ross Ford, plenty for them to think about, holding on to a 4-point advantage going into the second half. We can see one or two of the Southern Knights players now emerging from the changing rooms there. Fraser Thompson leading his side on to the field of play. What will have gone through the minds, and what will the coaches more importantly have said to the players during half time?
Probably just not to overplay too much in your own half. I think you can see the tries that have come, it's come from mistakes and then penalties. So yeah, territory's key, not try and overplay, just stay patient and try and build pressure on the opposition. I think the team that probably makes the least amount of mistakes this half will go close to going on and winning the game.
Pete McCallum and Ayrshire Bulls also on the field of play now for this second 40 minutes. And the Southern Knights certainly taking advantage of the yellow card shown to David Armstrong in that first half. But McCallum knows these many of the Melrose-based players of old, and certainly look for another opportunity to get one up on his rivals from the Scottish borders. Signal from Sam Grove White, who had one or two communications issues in the first half, but he's now ready and in position for the second half. Ross Thompson then will get this second half underway, and after a 15-minute interval in the changing rooms, we're back with Fraser Thompson clearing from his own 22 downfield, and that kick carries up almost towards that 10-metre line. There's the score line just in the top left of your picture, 17 points to 13. The Southern Knights tries a penalty try, followed by the number 8 Neil Irvin Hess with a kick and chase, touching down inside the 22, kicking forward and then touching down over the try line for the second Southern Knights try. Sam Kitchen scoring for the Ayrshire Bulls, and a very competent performance as well from the boot of their kicker Ross Thompson, completing the scoring for both these sides. Kitchen then, who we mentioned, scoring that try, almost an overthrow there, but worked towards the back of the line and planted down once more, taken forward this time by Lars Morris into contact. Referee signalling no release there. Thompson has it now out towards this right hand side, an opportunity here. Anderson is tackled though, plants the ball back, and Armstrong comes in. As a look at what's on his left hand side, stooping down and gathering was Griffiths, taking the ball into contact, back now towards Armstrong, finds Thompson, suited to the left boot of Thompson there. This time Fraser Thompson taps it with the inside of his right foot and then leathers one right-footed downfield, and it's now gathered almost on that touchline, but back with Ross Thompson. Another angled kick with a bit of loft and height on it, gathered though, and Patrick Anderson now just fends off one challenge, takes the ball into contact a second time, and that was good cover defence there. I think it was covering across was Tom Jordan, just slowing things down, but Southern Knights carrying the ball in open play up towards the halfway line. 2 minutes of this second half gone. Ayrshire Bulls 13, Southern Knights 17. What can you take from the opening 2 minutes, Fraser? More of the same?
More of the same, continuation of the 10s and kickers trying to put their team in the right areas of the field, and then from that just trying to apply pressure and force the other team into mistakes.
Kitchen's throw towards the back of the line, taken on this time by the back row forward and skipper Pete McCallum. McCallum though is tackled there, slowed up by Fraser Rennick, up towards the edge of that 10-metre line. Armstrong again has a look at the options towards his left hand side and goes in for seconds as they spread it through. Thompson again outside centre, this time was the player Tyler Beery, who scored a try in our previous televised fixture here when Heriots were the opposition up against the Ayrshire Bulls. Armstrong again is going to play the ball back infield. Pod of three forms. James Head with the block challenge for the Southern Knights. Armstrong again looking to mop up Thompson feeding the ball through the hands towards the onrushing Kitchen. Again, up front tackling is Dylan Taylor, open side flanker for the Southern Knights. On the angle this time, take almost into touch there, but was able to offload unconventionally, played back in field. Southern Knights tried to scramble. Double knock on, Southern Knights first to knock the ball forward. We've got now another set play just inside, as you can see, almost unconventional there, as neither side could get full grip of the ball there. Palmed off, but two knock-ons. The referee has signalled that I think Southern Knights were first to infringe. Ayrshire Bulls 13, Southern Knights 17. Played almost 44 minutes of the game. It's, if anything, brightening up overhead. I think a lot of us were expecting the rain to continue on into the afternoon, but the forecast and the weather has certainly improved since just before midday, and it's certainly made for better spectating conditions and for those on the pitch as well. Armstrong then has it, feeds the ball into the scrum just inside Southern Bulls territory. Offload, first receiver there was the right winger Davidson, coming off his wing, taken on this time by Beery. Very strong run on towards Anderson as well. Anderson with the offload. Beery has it again. Prodded forward there. The left winger Gosman with the kick. Thompson is back. Thompson will just secure possession of the ball before being closed down there by two Ayrshire Bulls players, led there by Tyler Beery. Taken on this time by Rory Knott. Knott still has it. Coming in to try and slow him up there was Craig Gosman. Close towards the edge of the touchline there. Hutchinson back in towards James Head. Head just goes to ground, able to plant the ball back, but the referee penalising Southern Knights on this occasion inside the 22.
Off feet, killing that contest.
And back in off their feet there, and looks as if Neil Irvin Hest, the second of the try scorers for Southern Knights, he's been penalised on this occasion, going off his feet. 13-17 remains the scoreline, but Fraser Climo, a chance here for Ayrshire Bulls perhaps to really test this what has been a very resolute Southern Knights defence so far.
Yeah, good period of attack there from the Bulls. I think going wide from the scrum, Grant Anderson showing his class, able to get the offloader away to Gosman, who puts it through. So now they'll just hopefully look to build pressure and get some sort of points out of the next phase or two.
Neil Irvin Hest there in our picture, receiving a bit of treatment for a bang to the top of the back or back of neck, and he seems to be wincing somewhat, so could well go to the replacements. The Southern Knights have Finlay Scott, Connor Young, Sean Gunn, Callum Cruikshanks, Ian Moody, Bruce Colvin, Ian Sim and Michael Julian, who we did see just at the end of the first half there warming up. They're all on the bench for the visitors in this second half. Just a stoppage at the moment. The benches are going to be hugely, important, extremely important, Fraser, in the outcome of this game, especially with it being so close. And if that continues to be the case up to the hour, it's going to be a lot down to the quality of those coming off the bench to perhaps see their respective sides over the line. Yeah,
both teams have got a great amount of experience on the bench. Southern Knights, Ian Moody, he's been around for a long time. Good player, comes on, can add a bit of impact, and also on the bench for the Bulls, players that can come on and add real impact. So there's no doubt the boys that are on there looking to go for as long as they can, and then coaches making the right subs.
So when the referee did blow for a stoppage, I think it was Ian Moody penalised for going in off his feet. So when the game restarts, it will be Ayrshire Bulls who will have the opportunity to attack. It does look as if it's Ian Moody, who you were talking about there, stripped and ready to come on the field of play for what is all but 5 minutes of the second half. Neil Irvin Hest still just receiving treatment, all care and attention, particularly when it involves the back or the neck or the head. You can see that Mike Dalgetty is scribbling some notes down on his clipboard, just perhaps signalling that the change is definitely forthcoming. Moody stripped and ready to come on. And players, of course, will want to just keep themselves warm, having the stoppage so soon after half-time, Fraser.
Yeah, it's important the boys keep moving. Obviously, with it just been 5 minutes after half-time, it's going to take a little while for the bodies to get going again. But it's important that they, once the whistle goes, they switch back on and get ready to play, because it's a big 35 minutes to go.
Fraser Thompson there in your picture, leading the Southern Knights conversation. Neil Irvin Hess now just been asked to keep his hands just down by his sides or on his stomach, and Pete McCallum doing likewise. So the respective captains at this time playing their part, getting players together and just in conversation, passing on instructions, reinforcing messages.
Yeah, Pete's a great captain. He's done it for a few years now, and the boys have great respect for him, so he'll know he'll just need to keep the boys' minds switched on here. Obviously it looks like we're going to be a decent break in play, so he'll just get the message across to stay switched on. There's going to be plenty of opportunities to come in the second half.
Members of the press alongside the sizable crowd inside Millbrae. Ian Moody's a very important player to bring off the bench as well, with his experience. You touched on that. He's been around the scene for a long time, very familiar with this level as well, just going up from the Premiership from last season, and hungry to be part of the FOSROC Super 6 competition. Of course, the competition goes as far as the start of March. The regulation season will finish then, and the top 4 sides will progress. And as we mentioned, if the scoreline was to remain as is, Fraser, it just cements the Southern Knights' place in the top 4, just below Ayrshire Bulls, Heriots and Watsonians.
Yeah, there's not much between all the teams, and especially the top 4 now. I think each team that comes up against each other, will be looking. We'll know they have a very tough match ahead, so obviously you want to finish as high as you can to give yourself a chance at a home semi-final, which could be crucial.
And the cross-border competition is going to, add an extra element to this level for these players to be up against some Welsh teams when you go into the springtime.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very exciting, coming up, especially with the cross-border stuff coming up. The Welsh boys will be very physical. Played down there myself with some real big boys down there, so it's a great opportunity for boys to get a taste of different rugby.
So Ian Moody just on the stretcher there. Of course, Moody scoring the try that really has the Southern Knights in front. Here it is again. It was chipped forward there. It was a good kick initially from Grant Shields. Shields did give chase, but Moody was just outpacing his loose head prop colleague there, and he was determined to get to the ball, just a fraction short of the line, carried it over the line and securing the try, and it's certainly made a valuable contribution in that first half. But does look as if he'll play no further part in this game, and we certainly hope it's not a serious injury sustained by the hard-working Southern Knights number 8. An illustration of, we watched him as well win several balls in the line out. He quite often is the go-to man for the Southern Knights in the line, but he can certainly put himself about a bit, and he's had in the club game and the Premiership game a pretty good try-scoring record over the years. But this will be a loss to the Southern Knights squad, and never nice to see a player receiving lengthy treatment and then being removed from the pitch on a stretcher. A few spectators just enjoying some chips and coffee this afternoon. They'll have a few talking points there, perhaps discussing the wider game and the upcoming Six Nations, which of course gets underway. Scotland in action over in Dublin next Saturday in the opening fixture for them. Many of these supporters, I'd imagine, will have at least one eye next weekend on that international over in Dublin's fair city. Those selling merchandise as well, it's a boost for them when you've got the Southern Knights coming along and the Ayrshire Bulls as well, branding. Be a few people around Christmas time be looking for gifts to pass on to respective supporters.
Yeah, obviously you can see there with young boys, we're in the horns. It's a great incentive from the club to put this sort of stuff out there, and I know the community has really been getting behind it, which is great to see. Definitely, getting a bit of an atmosphere with the bells. So it's great to see plenty of young fellas out here get involved.
And we mentioned as well that the whole Burns weekend, that we've played a lot on the fact that we're here in Alloway. But you as a player, albeit out injured, you still have to watch your diet. And I don't imagine there'll been too many Ayrshire Bulls or indeed Southern Knights players or any in the FOSROC Super6 that could overindulge in haggis, neeps and tatties or the like.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we only get a short break over the Christmas period, and then back into it with sort of training in between. So the boys sort of had to keep ticking themselves over the break to make sure we come back and are ready to go.
Of course, we had two very different matches yesterday with the Stirling County result, perhaps raising one or two eyebrows, with Stirling County defeating Watsonians by 27 points to 24, and then an emphatic win for Heriots against Boroughmuir. By and large, it has been over the piece a sequence of fixtures that have been very close. There have been very few games one-sided so far, which I guess the creators of the competition would be looking for that level of competition, and the interest is then maintained.
Yeah, definitely. You only have to be off your game, a little bit to get tipped up on your days. And last week we were poor against Watsonians. They played very well, but just shows you they've gone to Stirling, who've suffered a few close results, and results haven't really gone their way, and for them to get the result yesterday is massive for them.
Yeah, the importance of picking up bonus points, even losing bonus points, is very important over the course of the season. Certainly if you're looking to get one of those top 4 berths to be involved in the playoffs towards the end of March, and then those cross-border matches still to come. When you've been involved in matches as well, Fraser, when there's been a lengthy stoppage, it doesn't really, I suppose, matter when it is in the game. It can be unsettling on a number of levels, because first and foremost you have, as a player, a great deal of concern for the player who is down injured receiving treatment.
Yeah, absolutely. You never want to see a player go down with an injury. Hopefully this is not too serious, but you just got to try and get together in your units, see how the game's going, put plans in place. And just sort of, it's up to mainly the leaders in the team, the drivers of the game, to get around the players and just make sure we're ready to go as soon as that whistle.
Well, Ian Moody, we got a glimpse of him there. He's been warmly applauded off the field of play, and quite rightly so. Southern Knights try scorer this afternoon, the try that has given the Southern Knights the advantage in the early stages of the second half. But a sad sight to see a player leaving the field on a stretcher, and we certainly wish Neil Irvin Hess all the best for a recovery. Ian Moody on in replacement of Neil Irvin Hess, but Neil Irvin Hess, the try scorer, and the player in your picture there who's making his way off on the stretcher, having received an injury. So back underway then after that lengthy treatment for Neil Irvin Hess, and as I say, we wish him all the best for a speedy recovery. One in the line out then, and one well by Morris. And the drive on here now, as the Southern Knights very much under the cosh, and this would give the Ayrshire Bulls an advantage if they were able to win this battle here, battle of wills and a battle of the strength of the forwards. Kitchen almost losing his jersey, still has the ball tucked under his right arm just now. Kitchen still has it, ripping away at his jersey there. You can see his bare back there, looking now to offload towards Armstrong, but it goes again. Hutchinson tries to slow him up, keeps the ball up right there. You hear the referee saying tackle, release ball, and the referee now couldn't get a clear viewing of that, I don't think.
It's held up for me.
Oh, it held up for him, so no score. If
it's not held over the line, it would be not rolling away. So it's a scrum, their ball.
So Ayrshire Bulls continuing to turn the screw, but no end result for them on this occasion, Fraser.
No, you see that man Kitchen again, when he gets 5 metres out from the line, he really likes to tuck it under his arm and take responsibility and try and get the boys over. But massive scrum here now. hopefully the boys can get dominance and either get dominance and get the ball out wide.
Is there active sort of competition within the changing rooms to see who comes out on top in terms of try scoring? Is that often the case, forwards and backs maybe going against each other?
Yeah, Sammy's pretty vocal in the change room to let the boys know his numbers. Being an Aussie too, he's not shy of a word. So he's playing really well. He's been a form player in our full pack this season.
Bind. Set.
Armstrong
Steady.
alongside Hutchinson. Then Armstrong feeds the ball in for the Ayrshire Bulls.
Yes, Ayr.
Looking to try and just turn the tide here. The pick up, the drive on there, that was well played by Bordle. George Bordle stayed upright, was able to spin round, just get a little bit further momentum. A secondary drive here. I think the Southern Knights are straight offside, so the advantage certainly coming the way of Ayrshire Bulls here as they look to recycle once more. Again, they just dropped down. Have they carried the ball over the line? The referee again squatting down, held up. But I think he'll bring it back for that earlier offside decision, yep. And it looks as if it was Angus Runciman who'd strayed offside there. So this is a very important stage in the game. The forwards are battling hard, both in defence and in attack. And the Southern Knights defence under the cosh, holding firm just at the moment. Sam Kitchen, remember, the Ayrshire Bulls try scorer after a well executed drive from close quarters in that first half. 13-17 the scoreline, and this game has lived up to its billing. These sides, as we mentioned, although newly formed for the competition, include many players that know each other very well from past tournaments involving their respective sides in the Premiership in seasons past, and they've contested cup finals and semi-finals of league playoffs and finals as well in the past. Fraser Climo alongside me in the commentary position this afternoon. We're watching on here as Armstrong looking once more to feed the ball into another Ayrshire Bulls scrum. They've got to put in. Instructions called as well there from Struan Hutchison. And it's worked its way back now towards, you can see it's just been controlled there. The little splinter on once more. Again, Bordle looking very dangerous indeed. So too McPherson in the number 8 position. Just on the angle again, little pod forms.
Back foot.
McPherson certainly a very dangerous number 8. Are they going to carry the ball over the line this time? Again, a huddle of Southern Knights players just slowing them up underneath, almost forcing them back behind the posts. Armstrong again, on there towards McPherson. McPherson's forced sideways there. They couldn't straighten up and carry the ball over the line. Armstrong again, this time it's Kitchen. Kitchen tries to straighten up, plants the ball back. Armstrong just 5 metres short of the line. The pod forms again, looking perhaps to go to those pads on that right hand side. Touching the pads would be enough for a try. Again, they pick and go as a little pod. Two forms right in the thick of it there, sprawled out on his back. Dylan Taylor put in a huge defensive shift for the Southern Knights in the game so far. Forwards dominated, as we'd expected on this surface. Much of this game would be. And they look to, again, to secure, get hands on the ball once more. Another pick and go. Fraser Climo alongside me watching on, edge of the seat stuff here. James Head with a block challenge. Kitchen there still has it. Plants the ball back. You can see how close he is to the try line. Barely 2 metres from that line, separating the players with the ball. And 5 points. Again, another brilliant tackle coming in there from Dylan Taylor, who's back on his feet once more. Ayrshire Bulls 13, Southern Knights 17. Gripping stuff here. Armstrong again, looking just to offload. Kitchen this time, lunges for the line. The referee signals the try is good. And it's going to be Sam Kitchen, the Australian, lifting himself off the deck. Try number 2 from him. And Ayrshire Bulls, incessant pressure. They're back in front by a single point with the conversion to come. There's your try scorer in our picture. 18 points to 17, Fraser Climo. Your thoughts on Sam Kitchen?
Yeah, he's playing very well. It's great patience shown by the boys there. Davey Armstrong really taking control. You've got ball carriers like McPherson, McCullum, and obviously Kitchen there. It's all about just keeping the ball, and eventually, they'll get over. Sammy's got a great knack for the scoring tries at the moment, and his form continues.
Ross Thompson also been on form this afternoon. No problems at all. 20 points to 17. And again, just the pendulum swings, the seesaw match continues, and the Ayrshire Bulls find themselves once more back in front by a margin of 3 points. And Fraser, here's another replay of the score.
You can see great body position from Sammy, getting nice and low. Forward latches on, drives over, and he's pretty tough to stop from there.
Restart kick then from the Southern Knights, downfield, angled and just controlled there by Tom Jordan. Underneath it is Fraser Thompson. Thompson got a bit of ground to run into there, almost losing possession. Patrick Anderson picks up, offloads, just finds a jersey there. Ayrshire Bulls jersey was taken on there and swiftly by Tom Jordan. And the Ayrshire Bulls still looking to secure possession of the ball after that little spilled pass. Armstrong just trying to control it with the studs of his right boot. Lines up a box kick from the 10. Hoists it high. Matt Davidson giving chase. Was deliberately played back there as Ayrshire Bulls look to try and continue. The referee though had spotted an Ayrshire Bulls knock on earlier, and it remains 20 points to 17. Another set play chance for the sides just to have another breather. And it's now the Southern Knights having to play a bit more catch up in this game, but very little between the sides, and on this surface the forwards have worked tremendously hard, been very much involved in the scoring. Remember, it was Neil Irvin Hess who we saw was stretchered off the field of play. He scored the second try, a penalty try for the Southern Knights as well, and also some good kicking from their scrum half, Struan Hutchinson. Looked there in our picture, Gavin Wood looked as if he'd perhaps picked up a knock, and we can see also number 21 on the field of play. That is the experienced Bruce Colvin, so he's taken over in the number 9 position. So certainly a change for the Southern Knights. Moody on at number 8. He came on for Irvin Hess, but this now is Bruce Colvin wearing number 21, experienced scrum half. On towards Hutchinson, so they've rejigged things in the backs with Hutchinson staying on. Out towards that right hand side, Kieran White scored 2 tries last weekend for the Southern Knights against Burrymuir. We mentioned Colvin goes in, scraps for everything. Colvin's a well-kent face around these parts, having come with the Melrose side in the past, and now of course with Southern Knights. Out to bounce just in front of that 22. Grant Anderson starting fullback for the Ayrshire Bulls, trapped well there by Hutchinson. He angles a kick again, right-footed downfield there, and played back and controlled there by Gosman. Gosman now is tackled by Hutchinson. Reinforcements coming in for the Southern Knights. Armstrong again, appeals there, and outstretched arms of Angus Runciman, winning 5 for the Southern Knights, and it comes out towards this left hand side. Pete McCallum tackled by his opposite number. Another solid challenge coming in from Dylan Taylor. Armstrong again just calling the shots, looking to play this ball out with the studs of his right boot. Just on close towards the touchline between the 10 and the 22. Hoists it high. Fraser Thompson will be underneath it, takes it securely. Colvin now goes in and is able to feed the ball back in towards James Head. 55 minutes on the clock. Ayrshire Bulls 20, Southern Knights 17. 2 Sam Kitchen tries, part of the scoring for this Ayrshire Bulls side who are in front. And now Grant Anderson pings one forward there. That bounces 6-7 metres short of that touchline. Hutchinson has time to go and gather, plant the kick downfield again. This time it's Armstrong, delicate from Armstrong, little kick and chase. Colvin clatters into Armstrong there, and the replacement Southern Knights scrum half coming in fully committed, so too Armstrong, and Armstrong's clearly taken a sore one, Fraser.
Yeah, it looks a painful blow from Dave. He's the type of player that just puts his body on the line each time, but you can tell both teams not wanting to overplay too much in their half, just happy to kick it down. Oh yeah, it looks nasty. There's not many players tougher than Davey though, so he'll probably dust himself off and keep going.
Stentley's taken a knock around the left ankle, left knee, that collision with Bruce Colvin.
We just put the comms unit in the other way around.
Colvin just in a picture as well. I think he's taken a sore one, maybe a little bit of claret around the nose there for Bruce Colvin.
Yeah, it's good now.
And it's been a busy afternoon for the respective physios and medical staff from either side.
No, there's nothing,
Another
on the ground, it's fine. Yes.
stoppage in play. We had that injury to Neil Everett Hess just 3-4 minutes into the second half. Plenty there for the Melrose coach, the Southern Knights coaching staff, I should say, to think about. Ex-Melrose coach, of course, Rob Christie, alongside Ross Ford. Christie was in charge with Melrose up until the formation of the Super6 and has carried on as coach of the Southern Knights. And looks as if the Southern Knights have brought on some fresh legs and some replacements on the air. I think Sean Gunn is one of the players that has come on the field to play. But certainly it looks as if, again, Grant Shields this afternoon may well be done. So a change in the forwards. Connor Young also on. Young may well be on in place there of Grant Shields. Certainly 2 or 3 replacements. One of them not long since on the field of play. Currently the man in your picture receiving a bit of treatment just now, Bruce Colvin. And he'll be patched up if at all possible and try to carry on.
You alright? Yeah.
A win for either side does remain very important in the competition, it goes without saying. For the Ayrshire Bulls, keeps them very much in touch with the top 2. And for Southern Knights, pulls them away from Stirling and Boroughmuir towards the foot of the table.
Yeah, I think obviously a win, it just gives teams confidence. You know, they keep building week on week. If that confidence can keep growing, especially at the business end of the season, it can be very important.
Another wipe of the ball. Fraser Rennick with ball in hand just now, using the towel. Of course, they've no Neil Irvin Hess in the line this time. Look for Moody. Moody does well to win the ball. Secured and support coming in. Drive coming on there from Sean Gunn. Colvin just in behind there. And the Southern Knights now. Rennick has control of the ball, tucked under his right arm. Slowed up. Still he has it. He could perhaps splinter away or give it in turn to Colvin. In the thick of it too is Angus Runciman, who's lowering from his great height here. Colvin though, on now towards Hutchinson. Hutchinson running into trouble there, and challenge coming in there from Tom Jordan. Recycled again once more as the Southern Knights try to spread it out through Rory Knott out towards this right hand side. Colvin again just trying to call the shots. James Head this time goes into contact. Tackles coming in, solid challenge as well. Marshall Sykes going to the ground after the second row forward put in a fully committed challenge there. No releasing this time, and Ayrshire Bulls penalised, so another opportunity here for the Southern Knights to turn the screw. Colvin and Fraser Thompson alike will just take their time over measuring up what they're going to do here. Whether they go for the corner. Just prodded that ball into touch there. And we're approaching an hour mark in a game. A couple of lengthy stoppages in the contest. But we're delighted to have you joining us live from Millbrae for this FOSROC Super6 match between Ayrshire Bulls and Southern Knights. 3 points separating the sides. Ayrshire Bulls leading by 20 points to 17. As you see in the corner of your screen, Fraser Rennick feeding the ball into the line out then. He'll gather as it's padded backwards there. And the Southern Knights again just reorganise. Moody has a look at the options just towards his left hand side. Runciman may well be the option, and is. Head in behind him. In support is Connor Young. Once again they have a little look. Again Sean Gunn. Ball not out, so advantage has been played. On now towards Dylan Taylor. Taylor has really put himself about huge amount of tackles now. A steal, another opportunity for Connor Young, and it's Young who's over the try line, and the Southern Knights are back in front. Connor Young, that's their third score in the game, and the Southern Knights 22 points to 20 find themselves 2 points clear with the kick to come. Almost an hour played. Fraser Clemo, your thoughts on that latest try?
Yeah, just great patience from the Knights, keeping it nice and close, picking and going, and I'm not too sure what's happened. He just found a gap through the middle and he's gone straight through. So disappointing for the Bulls defence. Initially
good work here, taken into contact. Dylan Taylor, ball planted back, and it's as if they switched off there. Ayrshire Bulls perhaps almost unawares of how close they were to their own try line. And one of the Southern Knights replacements off the bench immediately on the score sheet. 22 points to 20, and now Hutchinson inside that 22. The ball just topples off the tee. He didn't start his run up though, so he's still backpedaling, and he's got it perhaps maybe just that little bit more upright. So to give the Southern Knights a 4-point lead with 20 minutes of this game left to play. Here he goes then, nice angle to see if this is straight and true. No problems at all, 24 points to 20. And we've got a very interesting closing quarter, Fraser, to watch.
Yeah, it's absolutely game on now. I think next 20 minutes will be so crucial for each team to just find territory, bang it down there and just force the other team into a mistake.
Just after 3:30 on a Sunday afternoon. Bruce Colvin, the first man up to celebrate with his try scorer there as Fraser Thompson clears downfield, batters that one off the main stand roof. Graham Ormiston raising the flag over on that far side. And the Southern Knights, if you were a betting man, Fraser, who do you anticipate would be next to score? I'll not say a player, just a side.
I think if the boys can win this line out, get a bit of pressure going, they just keep knocking away, then we've got a good chance.
Lars Maurice does well to win the ball in the line, and there is the two-time try scorer this afternoon, Sam Kitchen, controlling the ball. Armstrong behind him. Armstrong has two hands on the ball. Kitchen still has it tucked under, ripped by Armstrong. On there now, the centres just trying to take it up towards the edge of that 22, and Armstrong in behind once again. Taken forward by the hard-working Blair McPherson, carrying well up towards the 22, but the battle there won by the Southern Knights. Rennick celebrating there as if he scored a try of his own, and that was a case again of the Ayrshire Bulls player in possession, this time McPherson, who's done so well for the 61 minutes so far, becoming isolated and just not in a position to release possession of the ball. And 24-20 it remains, and a little winner there from Fraser Rennick as he watches the ball in flight land just almost on the edge of halfway. Fraser here again.
Just see Blair just caught by himself there, and for that split second it was enough for Fraser Rennick to get on that ball and get the turnover. Good play.
Rennick this time receiving from, just looking there, Sean Gunn in our picture. And now Rennick will look to find Runciman in the line. It'll be a little bit unconventional. Colvin, quick pass out towards Hutchinson, bounces a few times. Again, they tried to straighten up and take the ball just into that contact situation this time through Joseph Jenkins. Prodded downfield again. Ayrshire Bulls now in a hurry, perhaps not surprisingly, but they've still some time in this game to turn things around. Only a 4-point deficit. Hutchinson again angling the kick downfield, taken on there by Grant Anderson. Anderson a flatter kick this time, angled, and finds Fraser Thompson. Thompson then makes a little bit of yards before releasing right-footed, and it's becoming a bit of a tennis contest here, as this time it's Armstrong puts a bit more loft in the ball this time, a kick and chase, and Armstrong is the lead chaser there for Ayrshire Bulls, but gathered by Bruce Colvin. Those two have collided once already in the contest, and a little bit cleaner for both players, and comes back on the Southern Knights side. Taken on though by Ian Moody, supported by Rory Knott. Colvin now just in possession and in position to deliver one, hoisted high. Again they look to remain on side and give chase, and the referee up with the action, just watching on, just allowing the game to flow at the moment. You can see one or two of the Ayrshire Bulls players in the background warming up. They'll be on the field of play before long, I'd imagine. Sam Kitchen again picks up. He perhaps will have eyes on a hat-trick if he's in position to land another score for the Ayrshire Bulls. Taken on though this time by their number 5, Lars Maurice. Slowed up Armstrong, back again through the hands. Thompson, little option out towards this right hand side. 2-on-1 situation opens up, prodded kick forward again, almost trapped, not cleanly this time by Fraser Thompson. On rushing players inside centre and right winger, that's Jordan and Davidson respectively, looking to close down the Southern Knights fullback. Bruce Colvin again is able just to retain possession of the ball. Under great pressure though from this Ayrshire Bulls attack. Southern Knights again looking for an exit on the edge of their own 22. Taken into contact this time by Ian Moody, who's certainly put himself, made himself available and worked very hard since coming on the field of play for the 11 Hare. So just taking his eyes off it slightly there was Grant Anderson. He's frustrated as he signals to his teammates. Just lost sight of the ball momentarily. Didn't gather the pass cleanly there from Armstrong.
Yeah, you can see both teams just not looking to overplay too much, trying to kick it down, put the pressure in, and hope for a mistake. And unfortunately, there for Grunner, he's put it down. But big scrum now in the match.
Yeah, this is a big scrummage as the referee speaks to the respective captains once more.
In the breakdown, it's going to cost something. If we do see it, we'll penalise it. So just, I don't want to see your team clearing past it. I don't want to see your teams holding on to players in the breakdown. Is that fair? Just have a word, please. They're clearing through. They're taking them a metre past the breakdown. Yeah, too far past.
I'd say Sam Grove-White's been pretty reasonable over the piece with how he's refereed the game so far.
Yeah, he's communicated well with the players. Everyone sort of knows where they stand, and that's sort of all you can ask from a referee, as long as they're consistent and communicate with you. You know, you're doing a good job.
That cut, by the looks of it's opened up again. So Bruce Colvin will require a little bit further treatment. That coming as a result of a fully committed collision with David Armstrong. He's back to his feet again. And we'll be hoping that
water off, fellas.
he won't require any more of that ointment gel before the end of the game. Do you find that stuff effective?
I've never had to use it, mate. I don't tend to get into too much contact. So.
Keeping away from those sorts of collisions we witnessed.
Absolutely.
Same balance as the first lot.
Another set play then, and as Fraser mentioned there, it's an important scrummage, given we've 14 minutes of this game left to play.
Crouch!
And Bruce Colvin
Bind!
will pop the ball into the scrum here.
Set!
For the Southern Knights. And the appeal there from Pete McCallum.
I think there's a slip and everyone's trying to get their feet there. There's no one going forward.
So I felt there was no forward momentum, it was just a case of the players, and you can see almost every one of those players in the forward just clawing the mud from the studs and from the soles of their boots there. Just try and get a firmer hold on the pitch. I'd imagine that certainly the ground staff, maybe more than anybody, would be pleased to see that heavy rain blow through before kick-off time. It certainly really softened the ground. Had a walk on the edge of the pitch a couple of hours before kick-off, and it was very, very soft indeed. So no surprise it's cut up in the way that it has. Free kick this time awarded to the Ayrshire Bulls there. So they win that little scrummaging battle. And Fraser, they've got 13 minutes to turn things around. Southern Knights themselves 13 minutes perhaps to find another score just to see this game out. So it's exactly what a lot of these spectators would have imagined. This would be a very close run thing right to the latter stages of the match.
Yeah, big 30 minutes left. You can see just hopefully the boys can put some pressure on, get a turnover and put some real pressure on the Knights.
Hutchison again wins the ball from that free kick that was played downfield by Thompson. Runciman and Head almost getting in each other's way there, but Runciman allowed it to go the way of James Head. Colvin again just over the ball. He's going to use the boot here, and it's played left-footed downfield. Ping downfield now, and a chance for Armstrong now to find Grant Anderson. Anderson's high kick downfield allowed to bounce once, and Galbraith this time finds Fraser Thompson out towards this right hand side. Kieran White, good strong run there from Kieran White, very dangerous indeed. Challenge though coming in just to slow him up there. That was a good tackle there from the back row forward. George Bordle comes back now towards Bruce Colvin. He prods one through. Fraser Thompson giving chase here. Armstrong and Thompson coming together. Thompson played the ball forward. Are Southern Knights going to land that try? Well, it's been claimed there by Kieran White. He celebrates the score. 3 tries in 2 games for the starting Southern Knights right winger, taking the congratulations of his teammates there. Fraser Thompson, he was just trying to measure things down that right hand side. It was a kick and chase, and his race was round the edge of the 22, but it was a case of the right winger there, and you can see there Ross Thompson almost getting a boot in the face, tried absolutely everything to prevent Kieran White from scoring the try. But Southern Knights extend their lead 29-20 with the kick to come, and that's the try bonus in the bag.
Yeah, it could be a crucial score in the match. You see Thompson just showing his class there to hack it through, and a try there, touch and go. I think Ross Thompson was arguing that he got a hand on it as well. Try was awarded, so now it's a case of just the boys, 10 minutes to go, getting it back down there and just trying to put as much pressure on as they can.
Yeah, the clock now against the Ayrshire Bulls. But that said, they still have 10 minutes to turn things around, and that will be interesting to see what Struan Hutchison can do from this penalty. 20 points to 29, the scoreboard showing, and Hutchinson, here he goes then from beyond the 22, lining up this kick. On that 22 the tee was placed, that just drifts wide of the uprights. So 9 points separating these sides. Converted try would bring Ayrshire Bulls back to within 2. But the Southern Knights have been very solid defensively, and Ayrshire Bulls have to work tremendously hard. There's Fraser Thompson, the kick chase, and it was a well-weighted kick there from Thompson. It was very much aimed at a support runner, and the support coming from Kieran White. And that's his 3rd try in 2 matches. And there's another player down. It's flat out there, an Ayrshire Bulls player just receiving a bit of treatment, just sitting upright. And there's certainly been a few players in the wars today, Fraser.
Yeah, very physical match today. I think it's Craig Gosman, the Ayrshire Bulls winger. Just looking at, you can see, I think the Bulls players were arguing that Fraser Thompson was offside from that kick chase, and they might add a point, but try was given. So boys just have the big 10 minutes now to try and get something out of this match. Still plenty of time.
Gosman, good to see him back on his feet, although walking somewhat gingerly. And he was trying to provide cover in defence as Thompson played the ball down that right hand side. So the restart is still to be taken.
Yeah, we've got some subs, I think.
And Ayrshire Bulls will once again go to the bench to bring on some fresh legs for the remaining 10 minutes of this game. And here comes on to the field of play Glendon Hughes with the scrum cap on, and he's the reinforcements now for this Ayrshire Bulls side, trailing by a margin of 9 points. Bruce Colvin in possession just now for the Southern Knights, back towards Hutchinson inside the 22, plays it downfield, gathered there by Anderson then, little good step there, tries to evade the challenge coming in. Southern Knights players, like the Bulls counterparts, fully committed here, as Fraser was saying, not necessarily throwing caution to the wind, but got to be very direct in the forwards. Pete McCallum there, slowed up there by Galbraith, who stays upright with a good block challenge. Out towards this right hand side, perhaps 1 or 2 options will open up for the Ayrshire Bulls. Onto the field of play there as well, Isaac McNulty, at 21 in his back, so he'll be playing the closing 9 minutes of this game. Back now towards Ross Thompson, prodded through there by, looking down there, Harry Ward also in the field of play. So Fraser, I think it's perhaps not surprising that Pete Murch has gone to the bench and brought on some changes, almost wholesale changes in this Ayrshire Bulls side in the last couple of minutes, just to try and find something to get them back very much in the game.
Yeah, hopefully the boys can come on and make a bit of an impact there. I think Has Wars jumped onto the wing, usually at scrum half, but with only 2 back reserves, he's had to jump on for the injury of Gosman. But I think the boys probably now look to keep the ball in hand a little bit more, throw caution to the wind and try and get a couple of scores.
So Glendon Hughes, McNulty and Ward all on for the Ayrshire Bulls. And of course we mentioned Lewis Anderson also on the field areas with the scrum cap on. The blue scrum cap as back to his feet, another scrum cap and wearing player Fraser Hastie also on the field of play, so almost a completely empty bench now for this Ayrshire Bulls side. But one man has been on from the start, Anderson. His kick is charged down. He's picked up now by the left winger this afternoon for the Southern Knights, Patrick Anderson. And Anderson is securing possession for the visiting side. Taken on there by Sean Gunn, controlled by Bruce Colvin, and back in field. Somewhat stationary play at the moment as once again Colvin goes in, measured out there toward Hutchinson, carried forward there by Ian Moody, forced backwards. Ayrshire Bulls desperate for a turnover. Colvin no secures and prodded through towards Hutchinson. Those two are linking up well, and that rejigged back line for the Southern Knights, and that's a touch finder there for Grant Anderson. And we've played now almost 73 minutes of this game, and a picture of someone who had 10 minutes in the bin, but certainly been a very, very hard-working, controlling figure in that Ayrshire Bulls side. That's their scrum half and architect of some of their best play so far, David Armstrong.
Smart play from the Knights, just kicking it down into the corner, forcing the Bulls to come out of their own half and giving the line out away.
Ball.
Ian Moody winning the ball in the line there as Rennick just controls the drive on. Still they go, secondary drive almost, but it's still Rennick that goes. Rennick again, still he has it. Colvin just in behind.
Last stop, use it.
Colvin, look towards that left hand side again, brings Jenkins into play. Jenkins is tackled just on the edge of the 22. Colvin again has a look towards his left, just simple pop pass forward, still attacking and charging this Ayrshire Bulls line. So Southern Knights continuing their fine form at the start of 2020. If they can certainly see out this 6 remaining minutes on the clock, Ayrshire Bulls will certainly want to change all that, sitting third in the table as Southern Knights pick and go once again, driving closer towards that 5 metre line inside the Bulls 22.
Going forwards.
An obstruction there.
No chance of getting out there.
Again, obstruction. Lars Murray's back onto his feet. James Head, a smile on his face for the efforts of himself and his teammates. And Bruce Colvin just having a chat to one or two of the players off the bench. Another scrummage to put in will go the way of the Southern Knights, and we've just under 6 minutes of this game left to play. One of the Southern Knights players again receiving a bit of treatment, just slightly obscured in the picture. Could be James Head or could be Fraser Rennick. It is Rennick, just to that right shoulder. An ice pack or a cold pack being applied. So of course, Fraser, one of your jobs is to pick our man of the match this afternoon. Who would it go to?
It's going to go to that man on screen, Fraser Rennick. I think he's been everywhere, all over the park. A couple of key turnovers during the game, and I think he very much deserves the player of the match award. So the FOSROC Super6 man of the match for this week is Fraser Rennick, and onto the picture there, Rory Sauce just on for the final 5.5 minutes, and Rory Sauce on for Michael Scott in that front row. So a change, loose head properly placed, and they're the latest try scorer, perhaps the match-winning scorer, Kieran White. So it's be a Southern Knights put in, and there a glimpse of Fraser Rennick. So he'll be delighted with that little accolade, I'm sure, through here in Ayrshire in Alloway at Millbrae. Try bonus score for Southern Knights, Kieran White with that 4th try. Remember, of course, they got a penalty try to get the match underway. First score of the game. Colvin then just at the base of those players. Ian Moody on now towards Fraser Thompson. Thompson stabs one through. It's a touch finder. It was too strong there for Fraser Anderson. He sort of prodded the ball through there, and he was certainly finding touch down on that left hand side. But had Anderson, or rather had Thompson not put it maybe quite as much on that kick through, Anderson may well have been in for an opportunity to score a further try. Yeah, probably not his best kick he's ever done, but the result's good enough for the Southern Knights. Put them in the corner, choose up a bit of time, so they'll be happy.
Drive on again, but they look to try and work it out towards the centre field. As Ayrshire Bulls now camped inside their own 22. They'll want to get the ball downfield and downfield quickly as they take it into play there. That's Fraser Hastie, the latest bottom player to play the ball into the contact situation. Out towards this left-hand side. Again, at pace there, Harry Ward up towards the edge of the 22, tackled, back in field. Ferguson again looking just to try and put himself about. The cover player was Rory Sauce as it comes back now through the hands, taken on by the tight head. Will Griffiths against the post is attacking too, but makes the ball available for Armstrong. Back in now towards Ross Thompson. And challenge coming in there just on the edge of the 22 from Rory Knott. But Southern Knights had been penalised a little earlier. Fraser Rennick, I think, back on his haunches there, going to receive perhaps further treatment, possibly to that collarbone and right shoulder, as the ball is played downfield by Ross Thompson, the man in the picture there, age grade internationalist,
Time is off.
somebody with a very bright future in the game. It's another stoppage, another bit of further treatment applied to Fraser Rennick.
Time is off.
And yeah, it's the cold press again applied to that collarbone and shoulder, and his day may well be done, but he's been on long enough to be awarded the man of the match from your good self, Fraser.
Yeah, he's done plenty in the 76 minutes that he's played. He's been everywhere, really a nuisance, disrupting the Ayrshire Bulls ball. So yeah, he can be very proud of his efforts today.
Ayrshire Bulls with Lewis Anderson on as the replacement hooker. And he's in your picture right now, throwing the ball in, and one well there once again by Morris. Just on the angle, but again Southern Knights, they're the players applauding as that just breaks down at the line out there for Ayrshire Bulls, and they'll come back in field. More valuable seconds just ticking away as Ayrshire Bulls know they're more than a converted try behind in this game, and 3 minutes left. You feel that the time is beginning just to drift away from the home side.
And this point is on the angle, please. Thank you.
Colvin then about to feed the ball into the scrum. Sam Grove-White once again let the game flow when he's been able to. Shown the yellow card though. Card shown. McPherson was off the field of play for a little while, but so too a yellow card to David Armstrong in that first half. Bruce Colvin then will just take his time over feeding the ball into the scrum. You can see the studs there, Taylor's in particular, slipping and sliding. Ian Moody picks up just at the base, then goes in for the collision. Colvin in behind, box kick, height on the ball, allowing the chasers just to give chase, but it was Harry Ward back on the edge of the pitch there. Just studs almost on that try line, but he was able just to gather that high ball, and it's prodded forward, called the mark, and I'll just allow these players just to work that one down towards the edge of that 10-metre line. David Jangling raises the flag. Fraser Thompson signaling 2-3 times there he was going to throw the ball to his teammate Bruce Colvin. And Fraser Thompson and the Southern Knights could well leave Millbrae with a smile on their face and a further 5 points in the bag after a slow start by their standards in the Super 6 tournament. They've certainly come good since they went to Megatland on the 10th of January and landed their first win of the season. 90 seconds of this game left to play. Southern Knights have also made a change in that front row. Finlay Scott now throwing the ball into the line out. Rennick of course off, Scott now on, replacing the man of the match. Finlay Scott then again now has the ball under his control. Rory Knott goes in to support. Rory Knott on towards Colvin. Colvin almost at walking pace, just over a minute of this game left to play. And again Colvin just directing those forwards just in front of him, that they can continue to march forward. The best efforts there from these Ayrshire Bulls players, many of them just losing their grip and footing there. Galbraith coming into play. Two knock-ons, but Ayrshire Bulls penalised first, Fraser? I think, oh no, it's not. The referee seemed to suggest that to begin with, but is now gone the way of a put in for the Ayrshire Bulls side. And just over 30 seconds of this game left to play. Is it time up now for the home side, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. I think they have one last chance to around and go for that bonus point, which could be crucial in the weeks to come. So still plenty of play for in the next 30 seconds. If they can get a score, get close to that a losing bonus point, that might be pretty important in the next few weeks.
Well, we'll hear the hooter in the background when it does go to the 80 minutes. But Ayrshire Bulls will want to get on with this scrummage very quickly indeed. Armstrong will not hang about there. He's squatted down and is ready now. Just feeds the ball into the scrum. Hassled and harried there by Colvin. Nudged out the way by Colvin. Scrum begins to spin round. There's not been too many infringements in the scrummage. McPherson does very well indeed. That's knocked forward though off Ayrshire Bulls' hands, and it will be the advantage going to the Southern Knights. Patrick Anderson in possession of the ball, supported there by the back row forward Dylan Taylor. There is the hooter. So the Southern Knights are aware that they're going to head back to the Scottish borders with a victory. A third victory in this calendar year and a third victory in the competition. And they're becoming one of the form teams, certainly in the second half of the league season, and they'll certainly look to cement and improve their place in terms of points. They'll stay fourth in the table, but they move further clear of Stirling County and Boroughmuir Bears towards the foot of the table. One or two spectators beginning to head now to the exits after they heard the klaxon sound there.
Let's go, fellas.
And this will be the last action, the last part of this script here at Millbury. Almost at the blooded nose there of Bruce Colvin. Taps the ball in, feeds it. They'll just want a simple exit from the scrum here. Colvin gets the ball, just prods it into touch, and there goes the full-time whistle. A try-bonus win for the Southern Knights against the Ayrshire Bulls. And it keeps their good form in recent weeks very much on track to continue with their unbeaten run in 2020 for Ayrshire Bulls, though they were very much in the contest until that Kieran White try really put the game beyond the home side. Fraser Climo, your thoughts on what has been a very competitive and wholehearted game?
Yeah, I think if you look at the game as a whole, I think the Southern Knights sort of just took their opportunities. A couple of key moments in the game that went their way. And ultimately they just put too much pressure on the Bulls, and we couldn't build enough pressure to sustain an attack. So we're going to have to go away, work hard and look to get back to our winning ways.
Very fully committed, honest performance from both these sets of players, who may well meet again in the not too distant future, depending on the outcome of the playoffs, of course. And there's a smile on Rob Christie's face as he walks somewhat purposefully onto the pitch. Of course, we'll have pitchside interviews from representatives from both sides. Gavin will make his way down towards pitchside very shortly indeed. But it has been, the conditions improved during the course of the day. The pitch was always going to be a test for these players on the surface, but certainly put together a very good 80 minutes. A few injuries and injury concerns for both sides as well, with Neil Irvin Hess being taken off on a stretcher early in that second half, and we certainly wish him well. But there on the screen, a reminder of the final score: Ayrshire Bulls 20, the Southern Knights 29. So the team in fourth place in the table, leaving with a bonus point victory, and Ayrshire Bulls falling just short of a losing bonus themselves. So much for these sides to reflect as they head into the changing rooms. Let's have a look then at some of the highlights from this second half here at Millbury. This was the Ayrshire Bulls on the attack. Remember, they were trailing by 17 points to 13 in the second half. A succession of opportunities, and there that man in your picture with the red scrum cap, Sam Kitchen, his second try of the game, and at that stage they were able to ease their way back in front, and the Australian powering his way over the line. Struan Hutchison on his back, but couldn't stop him, neither could Rory Knott. This the third try for Southern Knights. Remember, at this stage, bonus try, penalty try I should say, as well as Neil Irvin Hess on the score sheet. But wonderful work there from Connor Young, picking up in close quarters, and again just finding a gap in that Ayrshire defence. Again, Taylor doing well, planting the ball back, the adjustment there, and he was quick off his feet there, round Armstrong, and touching down Fraser for an important try, and that did give them a slender lead.
Yeah, that was a very important moment in the match, especially after the Bulls had just scored, to come back and hit back with that. And as you can see, here's the Knights' final try, nudged ahead by Thompson, and finishing it off is Kieran White.
Yeah, Kieran White, who scored 2 tries as we mentioned last weekend, and there the appeals from Thompson. And Ross Thompson there felt he'd perhaps got a hand on the ball, grounded the ball. You can see there, all the 2 palms were out there from Kieran White. Very good shot of the 2 players fully committed, going for the try and for the try-saving tackle. And there's those Southern Knights players in a huddle, quite happy. And there's a young Ayrshire Bulls fan, perhaps picked up some merchandise or a raffle prize perhaps, heading back home. And much for these supporters to think about as the season continues. It's, as we suspected it would be, certainly a very competitive season. Good to see spectators of all ages, young and old. One of the few, I would imagine, here in pink Wellingtons. But they certainly suit her. I don't know if she'll go back home with memories of this very competitive game today. As we mentioned, Gavin is down pitch side and he's with the man of the match.
Fraser, a very competitive game here this afternoon. How hard were you made to work for the victory today?
Oh, it's always hard up at Millbrae. It's a tough place to come. Obviously, it's a pretty hostile environment, with a big crowd and that. So it's always hard to come, but it's great to get the result up here. It's just amazing, really.
And 3 wins on the bounce. 2020 has been a great year for the Southern Knights so far.
Aye, it has been. It was a tough start to the season, and we were all pretty honest about each other. Just we needed to work harder, and we've done that in 2020, and we're starting to see the results now. So it's good it's coming together.
And up next in a couple of weeks' time, we've got Stirling County back at the Green Yards. How important is it to finish strong for the playoffs?
Oh, it's a big game. Obviously, they had a good winning against Watsons yesterday, so that makes it an even bigger game. So, no, it's got to be a massive occasion again, and we hopefully get a big crowd in to watch support us, because I think we're on tally again, so it'll be good.
Well, congratulations, you're our FOSROC Player of the Match, and we've got Adam Gray to present you with your award.
Well done, Fraser. Well played, young man.
Cheers.
A fine reward then for Fraser Rennick, winning man of the match this afternoon, and 5 points for the Southern Knights to head back to the borders with. And down pitch side, Gavin is now in conversation with the Ayrshire Bulls head coach.
Pete, it was another competitive game this afternoon. What was your take on today's match?
Yeah, look, it was pretty tight. Obviously, we got ourselves into a winning position at 2017 up, but to be honest, we just made too many mistakes today to get the win. It was a pretty heavy pitch. There was a lot of kicking, and I mean that was obviously a massively important part of the game. And as I say, across the board, we just made too many errors, especially in that second half. And Southern Knights kicked well, to be fair to them, and just pinned us down in our territory in the last kind of 20-25 minutes. So look, obviously a disappointing result at home, but look, we gotta fight our way through it and get back to winning ways, because the margin of error in this league is getting slimmer and slimmer the further we go.
Absolutely, and with Watsonians losing yesterday, Herrick's winning, the Southern Knights now finding their form. How important are these last 2 games for you, for your season?
Yeah, obviously really important games. So obviously we need to do really good preparation for Boroughmuir and just find our way again, because we're just we're not playing to our potential at the moment. So that's obviously a massive game for us now, and we just need to improve our performance levels going into the business end of the season.
Perfect. Thanks, Tom.
Cheers. Thank you.
The thoughts then of the Ayrshire Bulls head coach Pete Murchie. Would you say that's a pretty fair reflection, Fraser Cleem, all round on how things panned out in the end for Ayrshire Bulls?
Yeah, I think so. I think he pointed on Ayrshire Bulls making too many mistakes, especially in their own half, and the Knights were able to capitalise on them. So yeah, it'll be a pretty disappointed changing room, I would have thought. But as Pete Murchie said there, we've got to pick ourselves up and look to get back to winning ways against Barramuir in a couple of weeks.
Now we'll head back down pitch side because Gavin has now been joined by the Southern Knights head coach Rob Christie.
Rob, I asked you last week if that was the best performance of the season, and I asked you the same question again today. How impressed were you with the performance today?
It was a different performance, a little bit different. No, it was good, loads of character. You know, I think that the pleasing thing is we executed a lot of what we kind of practiced through the week, and I thought the boys did really well, to be fair.
And a word on Kieran White. He's back in the tries again today. How impressed were you with him?
Yeah, Kieran's going well. Like I think a lot of the players are going well out there. So, no, as I said, I think that we played in the right areas and we kind of managed that field position reasonably well. Look, we made mistakes. It's hard not to make mistakes on that kind of conditions. But yeah, Kieran's going well, like a lot of the boys are now, and it's good. We've got real competition for places. I thought the bench came on and made a big impact today, and a lot of energy, which was great.
Absolutely, and 3 wins in a row now. 2020 has been a great year so far. How important are these last 2 games for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Every game's important. So we've got a game against British Army as well in a couple of weeks. So that'll be a great fixture. You know, it's the first time the British Army have played in Scotland for years. You know, so that'll be a tough fixture. So we've got that in 2 weeks, and then it's Stirling back at our place, who had a very good win yesterday as well. So
perfect. Well done today. Thanks for talking to us.
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Rob Christie there, and he'll be quite satisfied, I'd imagine, with that league table, with the Southern Knights remaining in 4th place but moving to within 3 points of the Ayrshire Bulls after their 3rd victory of the season, their 3rd victory of 2020, and of course it was a try bonus win over the Ayrshire Bulls here at Millbrae. Watsonians still lead the way, level on points with Heriots, Ayrshire Bulls in 3rd place, and it does look as if those 4 teams now are beginning just to pull away from Stirling County and Barramuir Bears. Of course, our next live action will be back down at the Green Yards, and it will be the Southern Knights against Stirling County on the 16th of February, live from 2 o'clock. Well, from myself, Stuart McFarlane, and my co-commentator Fraser Climo, thank you very much for joining us, and it's been another thoroughly entertaining 80 minutes here at Millbrae.